All right, you guys, it's Coach Stetzer here. We've just parked outside of the restaurant. Got the AC going, trying to stay cool. It's a hot day outside. Typically in the afternoon, Bacaro Primo is kind of quiet, but honestly, there's a lot of parking spaces filled. It might be cracking in here today. This is my second time coming to this restaurant. First time with Steve, first time for the show. So we'll see what Steve has to say, taste or waste. But me personally, I'm excited to try some appetizers. I'm excited to see what type of salad they might have today. And let's get these vibes rolling.
Hey everybody, what's up? Right now you got Stevie B eating, and I'm very excited. I'm about to try a new restaurant. The folks who know me know that I love trying new restaurants. So this is an Italian spot called Bacaro Primo. My colleague told me that it was good. I'm about to meet him here in a bit. So I'm excited to try it. There's a lot of nice, looking, sounding things on the menu, but I'm not quite sure what I'm going to get because most of the stuff I can't pronounce. So I'm going to go in here and ask, what is it that they suggest I try? And then go from there. And then if you've been here before, make sure that you let me know. Say, I've been there before. I tried this. I liked it. Because I would love to hear what you think as well. So, again, I'm very excited. So we're going to see what happens. And I'll, talk to you then. All right, let's do it.
Yo, what's good, ladies and gentlemen? This is Coach Stetzer and
Stevie B eating.
yes, sir. We just finished our meal at Bacaro Primo, which is in what neighborhood, Steve?
This is actually is it considered Brookside?
I was wondering the same thing.
It's either Brookside or possibly even Waldo. And I'm thinking it might be more Waldo area.
I'm gonna go ahead and call it Brookside, and I get
Waldo.
Brook Waldo. There we go. What's your first impression of the restaurant when you pulled up and got out of the car?
Actually, it seemed very quaint. It really reminded me of like an Italian bistro. So and I was impressed with that. So generally, when you have something like that, they really pay attention to their food and the quality of their food and things like that. So that was my first impression.
My first impression was shit. Steve gonna have to pay a lot. I always find when you're eating food, the best food or drinking a drink, the best drink is always something that takes you through a series of emotions. Had the soup, very good. I planned on getting two of them and just keeping it at that, keeping it light. But the good guy Steve, because he just can't go a day without being generous, I guess, gave me half of his sandwich because he claimed he wasn't gonna eat it later, and I had it. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you again in a few minutes. So, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's a new day. If you can't tell from the difference of outfits, the difference of scenery, and also the fact that God is good, God is great. Anyways, listen. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are back again. We are going to talk about what we had to eat at Bacaro Primo. We're going to go a little bit more in depth. But before we do so, I want to talk a little bit about Earl's Premier. Earl's Premier is another restaurant in Kansas City serving seafood with like a New England style, like a New England swag, right? So if you've ever been to New England or to the East Coast in general and had seafood, you know the vibe, you know the ambiance of a seafood style restaurant, right? So imagine that. That's Earl's Premier. And if you're from Kansas City, you've probably eaten there before, especially if you're a big seafood person. Now you might be wondering, why am I talking about Earl's Premier? Well, the owners of Earl's Premier, if I could pronounce that better, the owners of Earl's Premier are actually who opened up Bacaro Primo, I believe, in late 2021 or early 2022, which is a It's an Italian restaurant, but they also call it a salami bar or salumi, however you were supposed to pronounce. I don't know the Italian way of pronouncing that, to be completely honest with you, but salami salumi bar. But at an Italian restaurant, they also have a bar in there, very cute, very quaint. Yes. So there's a little bit of background about Bacaro Primo, who opened it, and maybe you want to check out their twin restaurant. Totally different style of food, but twin owners, Earl's Premier, if you're a big fan of seafood. Now, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we should probably introduce ourselves. So, Steve, go ahead and say what's cracking to the folks.
So what's cracking, folks? So I am Steve Wilson, also known as Stevie B. Eaton, and I'm actually really excited to talk about what we had and be able to really get into depth as far as what we had and what we thought of it and things like that, because I think that there were a lot of surprises along the way, and I think that it will be a great thing for someone to try if they're wanting to try something new and something different in the word of Italianish.
Yes, and with that being said, we're pulling up the photos here. Photos are going to kind of help us guide ourselves along what we had. So we're actually starting with, and if you're watching this right now, you should see the photo pop up on screen right about now, right here in the middle or right below us. And what you're seeing here is
This is the Autostrada,
yes,
which is, I didn't know what it was. I first thought that it was something like a charcuterie board or something because the way that it was actually described, but it actually is a sandwich, as you see, and it was very, very good with very thinly sliced meats, and then it had a spiced vegetable, which I can't pronounce. Um, can you pronounce it?
let's try. Let me try it. I'm gonna look at it as reference. So you guys are gonna see me pronunciate this based off of. Oh Lord. Okay, so what we're trying to say is an Italian relish of pickled vegetables in vinegar or oil. So it's kind of what added the sweet but a little bit spicy taste. It can be hot or it can be mild. Uh, good, good, Gardenia, Ganaria. Oh, that sounded loud.
Did you just say Narnia?
I thought I
Was
said
there a
gonorrhea,
Narnia there?
but either way,
GR,
Giardianera. Oh, that sounded good.
but there's no. Yeah, that might be good.
Giardian.
Yeah, lost it.
Giard.
So anyway, so it was
Giardiniera.
very good. It was spicy, but you didn't realize the spice until you kind of got into the sandwich. And then it had fresh tomatoes. Everything on the sandwich tasted very fresh, which I enjoyed. Even the bread, which I don't know, they might bake it there or something, but there was
I
something with
had
the
that vibe.
bread. But it was very, very good. But I definitely, and there was vinegar and oil on it as well. But you don't really know the spice or can't really tell the spice until you get further in the sandwich, because I was eating mine and I was trying to tell somebody that it was getting spicy, and he was just like, I don't taste no spice. So, but I'll let you talk about that.
Yeah, so he was talking about it was spicy. And, in my head, I was like, I really haven't ate too much Italian food that's spicy. Plus, it's a sandwich with mad vegetables on it. So I was just a little bit confused on how it could be spicy. So I was like, I don't know about that. And then he was like, Hey, you want half of my sandwich? I'm like, No. He's like, I'm not gonna finish it. I'm like, Yes, you will. And he's like, No. And I'm like, All right, well, you ain't gotta say it twice. So I took the sandwich and I took a bite, and I was like, I told you it wasn't spicy. And I took a second and third bite,
Mm-hmm.
and I said, Oh, oh, it's spicy. He started cracking up, and I was like, my lips started getting real spicy. So, and then I read the menu and saw that it literally said spicy in the breakdown of the
But
food.
I told you that it
Mhm.
said spicy.
See, now here you go with the lion.
And what did you learn? So anyway, the chips were really good. They were very light because they were homemade chips, and they were very, very light and crispy. So it would be something that I would just go there and get to snack on too. So those were very good as well. And they complemented the spicy sandwich.
I want to dive into that a little bit though. The chips made me think that just based off of the sandwich made me think they were going to be salt and vinegar. Were they, or were they just like plain potato chips that felt like they were like homemade kind of?
They were. It said homemade chips, so they
As you
made
can
them
see,
there.
I don't read the menu.
Clearly, but no, they were just regular chips. They weren't salt and vinegar. It would have been good if they were salt and vinegar, but they were probably some of the lightest homemade chips that I've had at a restaurant in a very, I mean, I think ever, because they were very, very light and crispy.
Okay, so it wasn't one of those ones. When you say light, you don't mean like if I bite into, I'll break my tooth.
Right, right. It was kind of like a classic Lay's, but even better.
Mm, that's a legendary memory that just came in my head.
There you
The
go.
Lay's life.
And you're welcome for that.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I'm welcome. Yes. I don't really have a great breakdown of the sandwich besides the spice finally hit. It was really good. I'm a huge fan of like a sweet and spicy vibe. So I think what they had in there that made it sweet was banana peppers.
Yeah, I think
And
so.
banana peppers are something that I like on any and every sandwich that someone gives me. Meatball sandwich, banana peppers. Pepperoni sandwich, banana peppers. Grilled cheese, banana peppers. Anything like with banana peppers and a little hot sauce is Kill Bill in my opinion. So I definitely loved the mixture of spices and sweets there. I would definitely get that again. What would you rate the Autostrada?
Out of what?
Let's do a 1 to 5 scale. Now you guys might be like, why not 1 to 10? 1 to 10 gives you too much range. 1 to 5 kind of helps you narrow it down to like, ooh, I really gotta choose something.
So the sandwich by itself, I would probably give a solid 4.
Out of 5. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I forgot that I asked for the 5. I forgot to ask for the 1 out of 5 scale. Whew. All right. So you gave it a 4. Now, what about the chips if they were by themselves? So like a
The chips
stand.
by themselves, I would probably have to give them a 4.5
So
because
they
they
were
were really
okay.
good. Now, if there was like a dip that went with them, that would be fire. But yeah, I would definitely give them a 4.5.
So say somebody goes to Bacaro Primo tomorrow, they get these chips with the Autostrada sandwich. What sauce or dip would you imagine would be tasty with those chips that they might be able to ask the
Gosh, I don't
waiter or
know.
waitress
It
for?
would have to be like a French onion dip or something like
Okay.
that in order for. That's probably what I would have asked for, but it was good because the thing is that it balanced out the sandwich. Once you got the spice of the sandwich,
Mm-hmm.
you had the chip that kind of calmed it down. So that's
Respect.
what was kind of nice about the chips and them not having anything on them except for salt.
And for those of you who watch this, I want you guys to answer this question and put your answer in the comment section. Steve, if you're at a restaurant and they bring out fries and a hamburger or chips in a sandwich or tater tots and this, right? So
Yeah.
the side dish, I guess you could call it.
Right.
What do you eat first, the side dish or the meal? Or do you eat them in combination at the same time? I am 100% side dish first, meal second.
I actually do at the same time
Okay.
because I like to mix the flavors and taste the different flavors together. Because a lot of times when they prepare the different meals, they're preparing things that complement each other,
Mm.
and they're positioning them to be eaten together, so you can like have a variety and a diverse palate when you're eating.
See, that's how you know he's more of a restaurant type of guy, and I'm a give me some damn food. Because I never thought about that. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So that is the Autostrada sandwich with the chips. What we're going to do is we're going to learn how to use a MacBook right now, live on camera. And I am going to pull up the photo of our soup, which actually came before the sandwich. So probably should have covered it first, but it's all good. Let's talk about this soup, man. I know that we don't know the name of it. So they have a soupa. Zuppa is how they have it written down in their menu. Um, so a soup of the day. They don't actually list what it is. They're just like, hey, what do you want the soup of the day? And of course, you could ask what it is. But either way, she brought it out. To me, I would just call it a chicken soup. He says that she said what it was. I don't particularly remember. But go ahead and break down your opinions and thoughts on the soup.
The zuppa. So it was really good. It was very flavorful. There was a lot of flavor in it. The noodles, which I can't remember what noodles that she called. I know you can't remember. Were very good. Like it was all I want to say it was almost like an Italian wedding soup kind of thing,
Mm.
but with chicken, and it had like good portions of chicken in it. So the only thing that I had an issue with, which you being my trainer tell me I needed to, not be this way, but it had a lot of kale in it. And she said there's a lot of kale in it, but I didn't realize that I was going to be like, in the swamp trying to eat this soup. So, minus the kale, I would have definitely enjoyed it more, but I did eat the kale.
He did. He
I
did
did
eat
eat
the
the
kale.
kale.
I can confirm.
Thank you. So I did eat the kale, but that was the only thing that I would have probably done different with the soup. But the flavor and all the combinations that they put together was very good to me.
And I will say he didn't complain about the kale until the very, very end. So he like ate it, no complaints, no facial expressions, not that I caught. And so shout out to you. He's now the kale guru. We'll make sure to put kale in everything you have, right?
I don't think that's how that works.
No, you're not. You don't. You're not a new fan of kale after that.
No.
Okay.
I still don't like kale.
All right. Well, the chicken itself was really good. I was actually surprised. I thought the chicken would like not be cooked enough, I guess you could say, or cooked well enough. But they were good chunk size pieces of chicken, soft, easy to chew. Kind of like it was just freshly grilled, but what I wouldn't necessarily say it was grilled,
No,
boiled,
probably boiled.
yes, which makes sense because it's a soup. But I liked the kale. I thought the kale was a nice add-on. To be honest, what I was thinking about is taking a piece of the chunk chicken, wrapping it in the kale, and then eating it like a little kale wrap. But I thought that might be a little extra, and we were like what I felt like in a nice restaurant, so I didn't want to embarrass you.
Why would you do that?
It's a kale chicken wrap.
Anyway,
these guys. But I thought the soup was really good. Very soft, I guess is the easy word. Went down really well. The noodles weren't strong tasting. The kale wasn't strong tasting. The chicken wasn't strong tasting. Very warm, soothing, like a homemade soup your mom would make you if you were sick. And I wasn't sick though. But either way, very beautiful. You should also be seeing the photo here. I thought it was nice. I think they had bell peppers, kale. It might be carrots, noodles, chicken, and then some other little tidbits. But I would give it a. If I had a big bowl of this, I probably would have added some type of like hot sauce or something to it. To be completely honest, I'm a hot sauce guy, my guy. I added hot sauce into what?
Taste the food.
I had hot sauce and Cheerios before.
Gross.
But it was good. Anyways, so without the milk, ladies and gentlemen, without the milk, just hot sauce and Cheerios. But so hopefully they don't judge me now that I said that part, but it's okay. The soup was really good. I give it a 4 out of 5. 4 out of 5. Again, I probably would have added something a little extra to make it like a really strong taste profile, but it was good. What would you rate it?
With the kale or without the kale?
Let's go without the kale because we already know you don't like the kale.
Well, without the kale, I would say 4.
Okay.
With the kale, it ended up taking it down to 3.5.
Kale took a half point off, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see, our guy doesn't like kale. What's your go-to green? Go.
Romaine.
All right, we're moving on.
I could have said iceberg.
We're moving.
Is that better?
That's even worse.
Yeah, so I can't remember the name of it, just because I couldn't pronounce any of the stuff that was on the menu. But it was a very light and refreshing drink. It kind of reminded me a little bit of a sangria. I don't remember what liquor that was in it. I want to say it was like a rum, but it also had a carbonated water of some sort, and then it had muddled blueberries at the bottom. Because I asked her, I said, "What can I get that would be refreshing and sweet, and very, lunchish?" And so she was like, "You need to try the blah, 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 blah." And so that's what I ordered. And at first, I was it was okay. I was drinking it, and
he hit you with one of these.
Well, she said sweet, and it wasn't sweet when I first had it. And then I was getting ready to, and as you were talking about earlier, the things that you don't do in a nice restaurant, I was about to take the knife and stir it up because I felt like all the sweetness was at the bottom. So, but it was still refreshing, so I continued to drink it. But then when I got about halfway down, and you can kind of see in the picture, like it gets darker halfway down, that's when you really started hitting the goodness. So once I got that, then it was like totally, what I thought it was going to be. So it ended up being definitely, I think I gave it a 4.5 out of 5 after I got to the, that equator of the glass. You like that, didn't you? You like that, right? So I would give it a 4 out of 5. It was very good, very refreshing. It wasn't too heavy. It didn't, make me tipsy or anything like that. So it was a very good afternoon drink that I definitely would get again.
And then, ladies and gentlemen, I will say that the water at this place was very good because that's all that I had, and the water was tasty. And she kept doing this thing where she came back and like poured more water in my cup. And I love that. This is the money guy here, so I hope he tipped her well because she kept Just
Yes.
So
she was very good.
She was amazing. She was amazing, and she was funny.
Yeah, she was funny,
and she was kind. And she actually just came into work when we were walking in. She walked in with us. So for her to like turn it on like that, she's obviously pretty good at her job. So if she happens to watch this, yeah, I would shout her out if I remembered her name. But
because she explained things.
Shout out to you.
Which is the reason why I got the
Autostrada. Yep.
Was because I asked her
it nice.
What should I get, and she was like, it's thinly sliced meat, it's Italian provolone, it's
and she said it in the voice too, the restaurant voice.
The restaurant, yeah. So I mean, yeah, thumbs up to her.
Thumbs up to her. Matter of fact, that should be part of the thing we do. 5-star rating for the service, things like that.
Service and the ambiance.
And the ambiance, yes. Ambiance, service, and food will be rated on the next episode. Right now, I'm giving the service 5-star because she was really awesome, explained the food really well. She kept filling up my water, which I'm a huge H2O guy, so to constantly have that filled was nice because I could have filled it myself, and she came over here and grabbed it and did it. So
she did.
Shout out to you. Ambiance. To be honest, I don't know how I feel about Bacaro Primo's ambiance, but I know that the individual who recommended it to me loves it. Has nothing but nice things to say about it every time he goes. But what's your humble opinion about the ambiance? I feel like it would be better at night.
Yes, I think you would have more of a Italian romantic. I mean, it would be great for like a dinner. I didn't like how close the tables were because it isn't huge. It's a smaller restaurant,
and we're bigger guys.
Yeah. So but like everything else, the decorations and stuff, I felt like it fit the theme
for sure
that they were looking at. So I mean, I would say the ambiance was probably. I'd say 3.5, maybe.
I'd give it a strong 3.5 with high potential to be a 5 in the nighttime.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. That's fair. 4.5. Maybe.
For sure. Ladies and gentlemen, the last thing we have to talk about is how my guide, I could see it in his eyes. He was like, hey, dessert.
Okay, let me tell you. So I'm a huge dessert person. Clearly, I like to eat. So I love dessert. And there was this limoncello cake that was on the menu that I really wanted to get. But because someone is my trainer, he was like, no, you don't need that. So I did not get the limoncello cake. So if I go back there without, then I'm getting the cake because I want to try it. And then I can tell you how it is, because I can't tell you how it is because somebody wouldn't let me try it.
Waitress came over. She's like, do you think that you want dessert or am I going a little overboard? He was in the restroom at the time. I was like, my perfect time to take over this situation. I was like, nah, man, we're good. We're extremely full. You did amazing. We couldn't handle it. And she's like, okay. Thought so because you're the trainer. But yeah, that's just a little breakdown. So if y'all see him on his, what's your IG name page?
Stevie B. Eaton.
Stevie B. Say it again.
Stevie B. Eaton.
There we go. Okay, one more time. Sorry, he says it real good. I'm just saying Stevie B. Eaton. I like the aggression in him. You know what I'm saying? He's like a wrestler.
But yeah, like definitely check it out.
Yes. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be a wrap on today's episode of
Taste or Waste.
He almost forgot the name.
Wait. So, I mean, taste it or waste it? What is our overall?
He almost forgot the name. Now he's trying to transition out of that to try to. But
still, it's okay. So your opinion, is this a taste or a waste?
100% taste for sure. Okay. And ladies and gentlemen, I've actually been there twice. So if I'd give you 110% taste, if you go there for dinner time, try their steak.
Oh, that sounds good. I would definitely. I do want to go back there for dinner.
Yeah.
And dessert. So I would definitely say taste. I wouldn't waste it because I feel like they had so many things going for them, from the food to the ambiance to the service was all great. So I would definitely say taste.
Taste it is. That's 100% on both sides of the map. Coach Stutzer, Stevie B.